Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we strangle, squeeze, brutalize the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we're here for another poetry discussion that comes to us from the incomparable Emily Dickinson, and in as much it will appear in two separate playlists here on the channel. Number one, obviously, the Poetry Discussions playlist, but number two, the Emily Dickinson playlist, the playlist of Emily Dickinson Poetry Discussions. Now, the poetry discussion playlist is over 200 videos strong at this point, and the Emily Dickinson playlist is growing over the 50 discussions, the 50 discussions mark, cruising deliberately towards 60. I hope to have 100 Emily Dickinson poetry discussions before, I won't say before next year. Maybe before next year. It depends. I'm on a streak here. We're quickly approaching 100 consecutive days of uploads here on Strip Coverlet. And by the way, literature is the only thing that I talk about here. Poetry every Monday, as well as novel read-alongs and short story discussions. So if you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button in order to stick around for more literary goodness. And if you want to help me out with what I'm doing here, hitting the like button tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers, and that really means a lot to me. So the poem that we have for today is known by the opening line because Emily Dickinson did not title her poems "'Tis So Appalling It Exhilarates." And, perhaps fittingly, there will be included in this video a discussion about Stephen King. There is a quote from him in a book called Danse Macabre, which was basically Stephen King's treatise on the horror genre, that we will get into immediately following this poem. "'Tis so appalling it exhilarates, so over horror it half captivates. The soul stares after it secure, a sepulchre fears frost no more. To scan a ghost is faint, but grappling conquers it. How easy torment now, suspense kept sawing so. The truth is bald and cold, but that will hold if any are not sure. We show them prayer, but we who know stop hoping now. Looking at death is dying, just let go and breathe, and not the pillow at your cheek so slumbereth. Others can wrestle, yours is done. And so of woe bleak dreaded come. It sets the fright at liberty, and terrors free, gay ghastly holiday. This year, "'Tis so appalling it exhilarates, so over horror it half captivates." We know that feeling. How come it is that no matter who you are driving past a wreck on the side of the highway, you have to stare at it? You have to look. What is the fascination with horror films and scary books? Why do we do these things that make us roil under the skin? In his treatise on horror, Danse Macabre, Stephen King says this: But on another more potent level, the work of horror really is a dance, a moving, rhythmic search, and what it's looking for is the place where you, the viewer or the reader, live at your most primitive level. The work of horror is not interested in the civilized furniture of our lives. Such a work dances through these rooms, which we have fitted out one piece at a time, each piece expressing, we hope, our socially acceptable and pleasantly enlightened character. It is in search of another place, a room which may sometimes resemble the secret den of a Victorian gentleman, sometimes the torture chamber of the Spanish Inquisition. But perhaps most frequently and most successfully, the simple and brutally plain hole of a Stone Age cave dweller. Is horror art? On this second level, the work of horror can be nothing else. It achieves the level of art simply because it is looking for something beyond art, something that predates art. It is looking for what I would call the phobic pressure points. The good horror tale will dance its way to the center of your life and find the secret door to the room you believed no one but you knew of. As both Albert Camus and Billy Joel have pointed out, the stranger makes us nervous, but we love to try on his face in secret. We love to try on his face in secret, but it's not just that. The stranger does make us nervous, and because the stranger makes us nervous, where better for our attention to lie? If the stranger makes you nervous, looking away from the stranger might be turning your back on the thing which is to finish you. This dereliction that we have towards horror, this dereliction that we have towards the macabre, the dereliction that we have towards the nasty is important. It's an important part of us. We have to have that thing. We have to know what that is. Imagine you are with your family, your tribe, cruising along the African savannah, looking for something squishy to eat, right? We were hunting prey, weren't we? And you see pop up from the grasses, the tall grasses, a lion, but not just a lion covered in blood. Oh, his mouth deep burgundy. He roars, his pupils dilated, his mane fluttering in the breeze, the slow breeze of the African savannah. You want to know where he's at. You don't want to turn your back on him and keep hunting some squishy little animal. You need to know where that guy is. Ghastly looking. Oh, just terrifying to see him. But that had better be where your eyes remain, because his every move will dictate the rest of yours if you are not careful. And it is strange. So if you look at biology, if you look at the sort of way that we evolved, our tenderest bits, the bits that will kill us the fastest, are on our back. Your spine. If your spine gets compromised, you're done. You're not running anymore. You're just going to be food. The base of your skull, well, it's right there in the back. That thing gets knocked right, and you are not moving any longer. Which means, these things mean that we were meant to face predators. We were meant to be looking at the scary thing, not running from it. We're not particularly fast, even the fastest among us. Usain Bolt, he's not outrunning a lion, not outrunning a cheetah, a leopard. These things will catch him very fast. So our weakest bits being in the back of us means that we did not evolve to run from those scary things. We evolved to be looking directly at them. We evolved to take them on face on. We evolved to look at the scary things. We evolved to be right there with the scary things. We evolved so that something so appalling exhilarates us. The sight of that lion covered in blood and still hungry wakes us up, turns us on, makes us go. And that horror captivates us. The soul stares after it, secure. A sepulchre fears frost no more, because our blood is running hot in those moments. We evolved in order to take on the scary things, which means there is some dereliction in our brain to look directly at them. And it doesn't turn us down, it cranks us up to do so. And we, though we are thinking individuals, though we feel some society to us, some civilized bit of us, we have no defense against that. It happens in the more primitive parts of our brains. The lizard brain, they call it. That is where these emotions come from. We have no choice. And because we are cerebral things, we are entities which have consciousness, in the aftermath of this thing, we are forced inside ourselves to make compense. We have to look at this scary, nasty thing and then wonder why we could not look away from it. We watch the train wreck because we have to. Because we have to. And then we wonder, why couldn't we look away? How was it that we, a thinking, feeling individual, sat there watching that thing just happen? Because we don't have the defenses against it, and so we are forced to come up with these reasons post hoc. We have to come up with these ideas, these explanations after the fact. It wasn't me. That thing did it. It was so appalling. It was exhilarating. It wasn't me being there choosing to do that thing. And I am not a victim of my lower brain. So it must have been the fault of the thing itself, that horror itself, that half captivated. Not the lizard brain inside me. But it was the lizard brain inside you. It was the wiring under the surface. It was it was that thing which you do not control inside yourself. You had no way to escape those moments. You had no way to turn your back on that scary thing. You had to be there, present through the experience, because you had to. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you enjoy this sort of thing, poetry is one of the things that I do here. It is every Monday on the channel, at least. But there have been many poetry discussions so far this year. I also do National Poetry Month every year, 30 poetry discussions in 30 days for National Poetry Month. And I am working diligently, maybe not quite as diligently as I would hope, on a series called Dickinson Darkly, journeying poem by poem through Emily Dickinson, starting at 1 and ending in the year 2093 with poem 1775 from Emily Dickinson. This is something that I hope to be a bit of my life's work, and I hope to have you here for that. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button in order to stick around for more literary goodness. And if you want to help me out with what I'm doing on this channel, hitting the like button tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers, and I would greatly appreciate that. I hope to have you back for the next one.